Once upon a time, somewhere in Kenya, the waters flowed freely. Their source, some springs originating from the cool forest that attracted rain in equal measure at the right time. And the land was drenched and gave growth to every sort of food. The climate, the environment was too good and brought with it peace. But that was decades ago. Today it is a different story. Everywhere in Kenya, the race is on to save our vital resources. Their efforts are contributing to good plans in National Resource Management Program known as Changieni Rasili Mali. ACT, a leading Kenyan non-governmental organization, is implementing a 4-year program that started in 2011 and will run to the end of 2015 on natural resources management. The program is supported by the governments of Sweden and the Department of International Development UKaid and branded Changieni Rasili Mali, or simply translated as "Let us come together and contribute to the management of our national natural resources."
This facility provides an opportunity for participating communities and implementing partners to broadly define their agenda, and over time, we believe this will bring sustainable management of our ecosystem and, more importantly, provide direct benefits to individual households, individual community groups, and overall we think the impact will be much greater so that our ecosystems are sustainably managed in a balanced way.
The facility works through grant making, capacity building, networking and advocacy approaches to support non-state actors like civil societies, community-based organizations and faith-based groups to improve their capacity as they work with local communities all over Kenya in enhancing their participation in governance and management of natural resources.
The program has so far supported at least 60 organizations, and the main sectors that we are supporting is water, environment, climate change, agriculture, energy.
ACT Change Transform through the Changieni Rasili Mali program has worked tirelessly with non-state actors in harmonizing national laws and policies dealing with land as a resource. Significantly, most of the land laws were adopted in the new Kenyan Constitution of 2010. Several other laws are in their final stages of debate before approval at the National Parliament and at the various county assemblies countrywide. In Kenya, forests occupy only a small portion of the land, but are extremely important in the domestic economy. The negative impacts of loss of forest cover have been the cause for reduced water resources, poor performing agricultural sector, and a land that is quickly becoming arid due to stress.
It's very difficult to stop people from using wood for their cooking and heating. So we have tried and introduced technologies that reduce pressure, and one of them is using of energy saving liners. As the household reduces pressure and uses less amount of fuel wood, they also can rear their chicken using that brood and an income.
This is Makueni in Lower Eastern. The race has been on in the last 4 years to reclaim back the seriously depleted forest.
Hii eneo kabla hatujaanza kupanda miti ilikuwa ni kama mbea, haikuwa na chochote. Hata miti ilikuwa hakuna, lakini tulipoanza kupanda miti imebadilika. Area ni green, maji imeongezeka.
Like in the other parts of the country, there exists in Makueni community forest associations, easily referred to as CFAs, who have been working in close collaboration with a local NGO called PAFRI and the Kenya Forest Service in ensuring that households plant trees around their farms and in community protected areas with the sole aim of increasing and conserving forest cover and responding to the government call in the Vision 2030 for an increase in forest cover to 10%.
This year we are planning to have a target of over 10,000 tree seedlings which are planted, and they make sure they plant among themselves and they help others to plant too.
So they build our capacity on advocacy, they later build our capacity on finance and financial management.
You cannot manage the natural resources in isolation of the public. You have to involve the public because they are the ones who are the custodian. They are even the people who knows what happens on day-to-day basis.
We started training faith leaders, 25 of them, and they have gone out. Currently, they have trained 10,000 people. So basically, what we are saying about farming in God's way is we are using the organic matter to farm. We want to conserve the environment. We want to use mulching on the farm so that we are conserving the water, the little water that is in the farm. This mulch is going also to be manure on this farm.
Faida nimepata mingi kwa sababu sasa kisai niko na chakula ambayo inaweza tumika kwa nyumba mpaka hata niuze ingine.
The majority population in this area have land holding between 1.5 acres to 3 acres. So we introduced double digging in that in a small portion of land like an acre, you are able to plant banana, you are able to plant sweet potato, you are able to plant rice.
Wundanyi in Taita Taveta County at the coast. A forum organized by VSO for the people living with disability is on.
Members ambao wako hapa wa TEI na Wundanyi Disabled tuliweza kuwa na kungamano ambalo tuliweza kwenda kushirikiana pamoja na minister na other stakeholders katika kuchangia kutengenezwa kwa sheria ambazo zitatuelekeza katika mambo ya mazingara.
We need to use our water and land more efficiently and support the farmers whose livelihoods are at risk if we are going to rise to the challenge and the need of feeding everyone.
Because of the farmers' tours, I changed my mind to go to other crops other than beans and maize. And I planted 500, but I mean purpose. So let's say in October or March next year, I'll be harvesting 400 trees. And these 200 trees I'm harvesting, I'm getting, let's say, 4,000 per week.
Kama tukiuza mandisi 10 tunafata 7,000. Hizo pesa nimesomesha watoto.
Most of our farmers have been able to advocate for increased budgeting on agriculture. We have seen areas like Tarakanidhi reach a 13% budgeting on agriculture, which surpasses the Maputo declaration of having a 10% commitment on agriculture by the different countries. So for us, this is a plus because increased budgets on agriculture means better livelihoods for the farmers.
About 80% of Kenya is arid and semi-arid lands, commonly referred to as ASAL. About 20% of the human and 50% of the livestock populations are found here. Only a mere 20% of Kenya's total land is suitable for cultivation.
We sought to intervene in the area of food security using indigenous food crops, which were drought resistant. These were cassava and millet to work with. And we extended now from Machakos and Kitui to even Makueni County.
Huwezi kusikia njaa sababu meoko iko na unga, iko chapati.
Families are able to feed themselves. They are able to have surplus to sell.
Since the launch of the Changieni Rasili Mali program, food security among communities living in these areas is improving. Land also has symbolic, cultural and historical importance.
We focused mostly on educating the leaders, that is the traditional leaders, the provincial administration and the group branch leadership, on the provisions of the constitution regarding gender. And we actually had one incident. One of the group branches was already discussing subdivision and the membership had passed for subdivision and women were not involved. So what they did is they actually went to the chief office, very peacefully protested that decision, and they actually managed to stop that subdivision.
This program is very much about working closely with the people by giving them improved skills for how they can manage their resources and then especially their natural resources in a way that will improve their livelihoods.
ile baruti ikilipuka huwa kunaenda kitu ambacho ni mtingisiko. Hili jengo linapasuka na huko kuna nyumba ambazo ni nyingi sana zimepasuka kutokana na mtingisiko huo. Sasa kuna madhara mengi. Hayo ndio yalikuwa kiasisi cha wananchi kutaka msaada, ndipo huria ilipokuja kwa mwaliko wa wananchi, na tangu hapo ndilo jambo ambalo linashughulikiwa mpaka leo hii.
The factory guys had like abandoned the whole community, but after we started our advocacy, we can say we could monitor the emissions, because he used to release those the dust thing any time of the day, but now we know that he does that only in the night at 3. The blastings at the quarries have reduced.
At the Indian Ocean at the coast, an NGO going by the name Community Action for Nature Conservation, CANCO, has formed a network of stakeholders in the fishing industry under a name Tuna Fisheries Alliance of Kenya, TUFAC. Through Changieni Rasili Mali funds, they have sensitized the local communities to think big in fisheries resource.
We've brought together different stakeholders, ranging from fishermen to civil society organizations, to talk about tuna issues. And what we are trying to do is to engage the government so that we can explore this resource and get benefits from the same, because tuna is an expensive fish as compared to the other types of fish that are caught in the coastal region.
In its nearly 5 years of existence, the program has achieved a lot. The Kenyan citizens are now more knowledgeable and empowered to participate in governance and sustainable utilization of natural resources. Lessons learned from the 5 program areas of land, agriculture, environment, climate change and water are being replicated and shared by communities with those who are yet to be reached, and the effects are exciting.
The water here was drying very early before the rains come. What used to happen here, people used to dig a deep traditional wells to get water from the sand. But now after the Rua came in and the sandy dam was built, the water surface came nearer. So now you only dig a very small portion, a very small well, and get water easily.
Low levels of access characterize water supply and sanitation in Kenya, in particular in urban slums and in rural areas, as well as poor service quality in the form of intermittent water supply.
If you come to the Lake Victoria region, access to safe water is a major challenge, with only approximately about 45% of the population accessing safe water. With the support from Changieni Rasili Mali, we were able to support 10 utilities based within Kisumu County. We are sensitizing the county government to be able to allocate some funds for to support network and collaboration.
After we brought in this project, the earth canals were dug and the water reached the people's farms. A distance of about 3 kilometers right from the river. People have now come back. The population has risen tremendously. People who are affected by cattle raids in places like Lobei and Kotaruk, all are now migrating here, abandoning even the pastoralism. And they are abandoning cattle because cattle are exposing them to danger. And they are all now coming here and wanting to be given a piece of land so that they can engage in agriculture.
These fields were once parched and dry. Who could have believed that they can beam with life? In all these, Changieni Rasili Mali is supporting the ongoing cooperation with the Government of Kenya in the natural resources sector that contributes to the achievement of the socio-economic objectives in Kenya's Vision 2030, Kenya's new Constitution of 2010, the Swedish and United Kingdom's development strategy for Kenya.